Problems maintaining your manhood? Then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knightsmed Miku, Lay-By Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22 next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop, Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
If you recently submitted a claim to the National Insurance Corporation, you also need to submit your financial account information to get paid. All NIC benefit claims are now paid conveniently through your local financial institution. To provide your bank or credit union account information, simply log on to the NIC website at www.stlucianic.org. Click the Financial Account Information tab and fill out the form. It's that easy. You only submit once. Ensure you enter the details of an open, active account in your name. If you do not have access to the internet, visit any NIC office to collect the financial account information form. Help us to help you. NIC, for the benefit of us all.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway. Call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice.
Everyone, and happy St. Cecilia's Day, the Feast of Musicians, which is being celebrated, I can tell, all over the place. You know, you can see the setups at the Shock Roundabout. You can see them so many other places that they are. And I wish you all the musicians and those who support you, those who are enjoying, you know, by the Castries Market, the Craft Vendors Market, and the many other locations. You can see the band's setup, and you can also see, joyfully I observed, the very young children, school children, turning out to participate in it. St. Cecilia's Day, the Feast of Musicians, always a big thing in St. Lucia, and always bringing about very enthusiastic participation by our musicians, showing how they hold not just the traditions, but, you know, the art form and its development, and making sure that they remain connected to the people and the people remain connected to them. I wish the entire music industry in St. Lucia, whether it is being pursued from a modernist point of view or from the traditional folk culture, whatever it is, I mean, St. Lucian music, its development is something which is extremely important. Now I see someone trying to get my attention. Jaquan, I don't know if it's you. That through the glass partition, some attention is being sought right there. Let me also say happy birthday to a co-worker here at MBC, in fact, whose name is derived from St. Cecilia. Cecil Actil, the news editor, happy birthday to you. I didn't bother asking your age, but I know your name is Actil, and so you've been acting the part very good, of looking quite young and always energetic, etc. And I hope that you continue being so. And to all the other Cecils and Cecilias who have their names, you know, in some way derived or connected to St. Cecilia's Day, happy birthday to you, and my very best to you, whether or not you are musically inclined. But I guess it's a good time to make such an observance because of the outstanding nature of the date and its connection to our traditions, to our religion, to our culture and all of that. All right, I'll be having a guest today at 1 o'clock, and I did tell you folks that because of the paucity of time yesterday to accommodate calls, that when I came back today in the first half hour of the program, because my guest is coming after the 1 p.m. ad break, that I'll leave the lines open for any calls that you wish to make. I know you're not accustomed to real issues opening the lines so early in the program, but it is our final program for the week, and fittingly, it is a program that concludes not just on any Friday, but on St. Cecilia's Day. In fact, we have pretty much a week left, till the end of the month, because when we reach next Friday, it will be the 29th. So next Saturday is going to be the 30th, and that's all the days that we have for the month of November. So the month is rapidly ending. And when I say that November is rapidly ending, it is impossible for me not to hark back to something I've been talking about quite a lot, and that is the Millennium Highway, which I have, cynically, sardonically, whatever it is, called it the Forever Road, because yesterday I had another experience with it where they were still struggling. Folks, we're almost at the end of November. Today is the 22nd day. We just have 8 more days till the end of the month. And it was, as we would say in our Creole, Okwebje. For me I needed to do something at cul-de-sac, and so I decided to pass on the Millennium Highway. And part of my reason was to see the progress, because it looks like they're struggling with that last section from the northern tunnel, that is the tunnel closest to Banan, facing north. And that last piece leading from that tunnel to go down, I suppose their project or their contract ends at the, roughly in the area of the Banan roundabout. And they've put these heavy concrete barriers painted red and white along the road, and a little, into leading towards Fuasho and so on. I suppose they're markers for sidewalk and drain and whatever they have to do. And I'm saying, okay, things take time. We know it takes time. But this project for that road was signed in 2019. We're talking about 5 years that all the things associated with that road, which was not a new road, which was not a fresh road, it's not to say they had to cut the road, to begin with, to cut through the hillsides and the slopes and to lay out the foundation or bottom or sub-base, however we call it, and do all of. They found a road which was already in existence. Maybe they had to compact an area here, do this, do that, whatever. But 5 years. And every time they give a completion date, it cannot get finished by that date. It goes on and on and on. And, we may not see the relationship, but people when you begin to impede the flow of traffic into and out of the city, which is another bottleneck, which is, a place where things basically congest and get packed and get, jammed and so on in the city. When you deprive yourself, and this thing with the Millennium Highway is going on just when we got the announcement from the Ministry of Infrastructure that the entire West Coast Road from cul-de-sac going down to Soufrière is going to be an active construction zone. People have to be careful. There will be open pits and open drains and a whole, in fact, you heard me read it yesterday. So this is another point where we are saying that the flow of traffic into and out of, certain areas is going to be impeded. So we now have the West Coast Road added to the mix. And I'm sure the people who planned this were hoping that by the time the whole West Coast Road bottlenecks and impediments and hurdles and snafus and whatever arose, as we would expect they would, like I said, and I've been saying all the time and others have been saying, you cannot get omelets without breaking eggs. It's not going to happen. You're going to have major road development and road rehabilitation and road construction and road upgrade for you not to have inconveniences and slowdowns and traffic jams and this kind of thing. But I'm sure everyone was hoping that by the time the West Coast Road really got going, and I think there's a different contractor, thank God, doing it, called Namalco. Let's hope they perform better. It's a much longer stretch of road. I'm sure it's much more complex. I mean, the whole West Coast Road, people, we know the kind of twists and turns and hairpin bends and sharp drop-offs and cliffs and precipices and whatever it is that they have to. We know, especially that part, between Ancillary and Canries and between Canries and Soufrière. These are not easy. They're going to be working on all of that, and the extent of what they've told us, we know there will be complexities, there will be hurdles, there will be setbacks, there will be unexpected delays and all those sorts of things. But Millennium Highway, I mean, this thing, like I said, it's been going on forever, and it's looked like forever because apart from the portion from the Northern Tunnel going down to the Banana Roundabout, there seem to be other areas they're struggling with that they just cannot close off up to now. They just cannot finish them. There's an area, the last bit before, if you're traveling from town and you're heading towards the cul-de-sac roundabout, there's a little portion there that you thought by now the guys would have finished it. They scraped it up, they removed the layer of asphalt at the top, and you thought they were going to pave it. Okay, they roll it, so even though it is not the smooth surfacing and so on, but now rain has come down, big potholes, driving over it is rough and bumpy. It's like there's an area there they fix nice and long, then all of a sudden you come and you meet another, Poul Fouizé area that is rough, that is lumpy, Ilupe, Haralani Tu, Baralon, Kalteman, Yedegwe, and so on. And I don't really know, but I think some time ago, if I recall well, I heard Yadi read on Zafenu a letter that the contractor C.O. Williams had written. I can't remember to who. I think it would have had to be to the Caribbean Development Bank, explaining who they felt was responsible and to blame for the long delays on the road. I have heard from that and from other sources that unreasonable demands are being made for specifications, that if they get 31% crushability, somebody's insisting, no, it has to be exact 32%, and a whole lot of things that they don't feel are necessary are being done, and that the road is being stretched on and on. I can't say for sure, but it's like, it seems like there's this kind of finicky, nitpicking kind of personality involved in the road and so on that is doing their level best, if not to sabotage the road, that's a strong word to use, but, to delay it and to hinder it and to hold it back and all sorts of things. But I guess time will tell. But anyway, to tell you the true story, I reached Banana Roundabout, made the left turn to go up that little hill to the first tunnel, and I saw long line of traffic moving slow, but there was a big truck discharging water. And so I figure it is, although the makeup of it didn't look like your regular water truck with a tank, I don't know where the water, but a huge quantity of water, it was dropping on the road. I don't think anyone was complaining because, the water helps to suppress the dust and so on. Went up to the first tunnel. And it took quite a bit of time before I could get to what we would call the entrance of the tunnel coming from the north. I mean, I reached there, lot of traffic and the road not good there, a kind of deep potholes and so on. And then just about as soon as I entered the tunnel, a few yards, a lot of vehicles in front of me, lot behind me, the traffic just died. I kept on thinking to turn back, to do a 3-point turn across the road and go back. But I said, hold on, dude, you got to be careful, patient sometimes. Maybe it's a good thing, worth it for you to go and see exactly what's going on, what's holding it. So it's not really the portion going down to the Banana Roundabout. It's something that is happening after the southern entrance of the tunnel, what would have been the exit for me. Something is going on there that's holding on the traffic. And I know it must be that little portion that is below Cicero there, etc., that they again seem to be taking forever to close out and so on and to do it. The traffic was there. Then I saw traffic coming from the other side. Apparently, whoever is doing the stop-go, now is the time to let the other traffic coming from the side of the Millennium Heights Medical Complex, OKU. And traffic just kept on coming from one direction, and we just held up there. At times, huge pauses in between. You just have no idea what's happening. It went on and on and on like that for the better part of half an hour. Half an hour is a long time. Finally, I decided to do my 3-point turn. I turned and I went, across, Latok. I climbed the Latok Hill, and I went down to Cul-de-sac. No problems to do my business. Got what I was doing at Cul-de-sac done. A habit. I take the roundabout again, the new cul-de-sac roundabout, and I'm going to go back middle. And I said, what are you doing, dude? You're going back along that same highway. You don't know if the same problem is not there. If you'll not have to wait even longer coming from the other side and so on. When I reach the Cicero Junction, opposite the service station that's there, the lower Cicero, bottom of Cicero Junction, I made my right turn. I went and I passed through Cicero, went up the Mon, and I came back down. To be sure that I didn't get myself in any bottleneck, any traffic jam at the Bannon Roundabout as a result of that. I said, oh no, I'm passing Old Mon Road. Oh yes, I'm passing the Old Mon Road, and I'm coming down, came down to town, not a problem. This thing is going on. And when you add this to the other things that you have happening where traffic is concerned in this country, in the north and so on, I mean, this Forever Road cannot be helping at all. It is just adding. And when you have that, and now you have the West Coast Road project just starting, and we are told, be very careful. So many things there that can be perils to you. You can imagine how it is. Basically just going to choke up. The sad thing about it is that whether it is incompetence, whether it is malice, whether it is sabotage, whatever it is, folks, at the end of the day, Stephenson King as Minister of Infrastructure, Philip J. as Prime Minister, these are the people who are going to get blamed for it. These are the people, is always the politicians who are going to get blows for this thing all the time when they have nothing to do with it, when there's very little they can do about it in the circumstances without messing up everything even further. The best they can do is to say, okay, let's bear a little more patience. Let's hope a little more. Let's wait for it. Let's, be patient. We've come this far and so on. People, we almost at the end of November. We're almost at the end of November. And there's going to be a pickup in business, in freight, in transporting things, because Christmas, stock is coming. Whatever is on the pots and on the docks and so on that has arrived, that has to be transported from here to there so that the businesses can stockpile their houses, their warehouses for all the sales and all the discounts and all the increased business that they anticipate and the construction boom that we're hearing about and so on. To have major road routes and arteries, if not outright cut off, but being impeded, being restricted, being slowed down to that extent, the economic cost of those things has to be significant on our country. Not to talk for the ordinary, movement of commuters and so on, but Kida Sabat Mizei, Forever Road, still there. Another thing, folks, the road markings. I noticed that over vast and heavily trafficked sections of road, that's another problem. The road is not marked, it is unmarked. The lane markings and so on to show you what is the left lane and the right lane, they're just not there. Now you may wonder, come on, if you're a driver, that shouldn't bother you. It is a problem, maybe not for everybody, but it's a problem for others. I met an elderly citizen, a man I've known for a long time. I'm tempted to name him. We met inside Massey at Sunny Acres. And he was telling me, you've been talking about the lights, but I notice you're not talking about the markings on the road. This thing is really disorienting. It's putting you off. And I know It's just that anytime another vehicle is coming, it kind of picks you up to say, okay, maybe you could move a little further left. This thing is disorienting, especially in the night when people have their bright light on you and they're not dimming, and you can flash them how many times, they're not dimming. When I learned to drive as a young man, I remember this was something all instructors and even older guys who were your friends would give you, a little drive to. They'll tell you, look, when they put the bright on you, what you should do, focus on your left side, take your bearings, on the road marking and so on, and stay as close to it or on it as you can. Sometimes you virtually have to ignore them, hope they're doing the right thing, that they don't come at you, so that the bright doesn't trouble you too much and so on. And that's what I grew up doing. Keep yourself, focused on the left and try to shield your eye, which is not good driving, come to think of it, because you're supposed to be aware of other vehicles and oncoming traffic, and if they themselves have lost control and they're veering towards you or anything like that. But sometimes there's nothing you can do. The kind of bright lights they put on you. Now, you used to do that, take your bearings on the road markings. So many areas the road is not marked. You don't have center markings, you don't have side markings to the left or to the right and so on. Why is that happening? So many places we have enough perils on the road. I don't know what it is. Are we short of paint? Are the supply chain issues means that the paint is on a boat and it's not getting here, whatever? We need to do something with those road markings. They can make the difference. And who knows the difference between life and death? Get the roads marked. It was not a problem before. It was not a problem. It can't be a problem now. Get the roads marked, folks. Talking about being at Sunny Acres, oh my goodness, yesterday another experience with that Sunny Acres roundabout, coming out of the Sunny Acres mall area and going to the roundabout, intending to make a right turn to go up north. Do my usual check of the vehicles, the traffic coming down from the north, because you have to give way to traffic coming from your right. It was clear. I wondered, oh my goodness, I'm lucky today, I don't have to move fast. I'm driving okay, making sure I'm going to make one lane of vehicles coming from town. The inner lane, they stop for me. So I am going, my goodness, another guy is coming into the outer lane heading north. So he can't be turning into Sunny Acres or anything. And the guy is coming at speed. And luckily, like I say, my training, my upbringing in defensive driving just tell me, lift my foot off my accelerator. But off accelerator, I had to press brakes. The speed, when you're defensively trained, you watch those things, you can see the speed a man is coming into a junction or roundabout. Monsieur Ban pièce attention the boat. I'm going to tell you speed. Why the guy pass with a kind of speed there, like if I had gone, Monsieur de ka exterminer moi, Monsieur de ka manger moi. Like so many people driving, they don't know that they're supposed to yield, they're supposed to give way at a roundabout to traffic coming from their right. People are driving like crazy, and like I say, this is not about yang complaint, a drip of complaint. This is about we need to apprehend some of those people. We need to stop them. We need to, even if it's after the fact, camera pick them up, their number plate. Okay, you have more pressing things to do. But sometime in the evening, sir, my name is Officer so-and-so. I'm here to tell you that we found you committing a traffic violation at the Sunny Acres roundabout today, in that you failed to give way to traffic coming from your right, and you were going at a high speed, which, could have caused an accident, etc. And we have to ticket you for that or something. Word will get around that. Don't think you ever getting away with those things. The police are going to review them, and yes, they have to chase after people who are shooting people on motorcycle and all of that. So they will not give priority to that. But there has to be some ways that people know that the kind of impunity that they seem to be enjoying and which seems to be encouraging them, that it is not going to stand. And I have to say this, maybe I'm wrong, Commissioner God. If there is, your time at the helm has been short, but sir, if there is one area where your leadership of the force and your presence and so on, people can say it is not shining, it is not excelling, is in the traffic situation. It is in your tenure, albeit very early, Commissioner God, that the Prime Minister has to come and issue a national statement about the situation on the roads, which he describes as being madness. And he's right. I don't know if traffic management is one of the easier aspects of policing. I cannot tell you. I do not know what your limitations, what your challenges are. But you have a Prime Minister, to the best of my knowledge, who is very attentive and very responsive to the needs of the police force. We've heard about all the vehicles and patrol things. If there is more that is needed, if there is cameras to capture people and more of them and so on, Commissioner Gard, make your case. This is the time to make it. Because I'm telling you, the traffic situation is not healthy, it's not good, it's not reassuring, it's not safe, it's not where it should be, where it needs to be. More so again because we are going into the holiday season, into the Christmas season. People are going to have more rum in their head. In addition to the regular rum, they're going to have, the very wonderfully brewed rum punches and different kind of punches that people will make, and ginger wine and sorrel wine and all of that in their head. People just going to feel nice. You're going to have St. Lucians who come back home for Christmas, vacationing and so on. And they always feel this is their country. They know it and no problem. I drove here for 50 years before I went to New York and so on. They don't realize that there have been changes, that subtle things and so on. They're going to come and they're going to visit family and they'll be driving. And that's one thing about especially us men. Driving is tied to our ego. Driving is tied to our sense of manhood and manliness, And we quick when anybody, I'm all right, I'm okay, man. I can understand. Part of the macho thing, some of us still don't want to wear seatbelt. Seat belt, man. You don't have to worry that. I'm good, you good, man, and so on. And then they're going to come here and they want to feel relaxed and they'll be driving and they have a few shots over here and a few shots over there, and all this kind of thing. We have to be careful with those things. When a holiday season coming, a time of joy, a time of cheer and so on, is often turned into a time of mourning and weeping and gnashing of teeth and, on tell la pen, which just puts a damper on the joy of the season. Let us watch out for those things and please, let us do something about it. Like I said, it's not about chasing to think you will get everybody. You get some that will make a difference. So much for that. What else I had to say? All right. People, someone sent me something and I, ah, boy. Someone sent me something and it has a picture of Lionel Ellis, a man with whom I am only too familiar, and purporting to show that he's gotten some kind of sweetheart treatment in terms of the road near his home or leading to his home being so nice and being so well done and all of that, and suggesting, let me see if I can get what it's actually saying, please. And be prepared to be surprised, Lionel Ellis and I, but a greater part of the time we've known each other, we've not had a good relationship or anything like that. I haven't seen him for a while. It's probably the better and so on. He's a good distance from being my favorite person, and I'm sure it's reciprocal. It's the other side and so on because of bad experiences we had. After a good start, I must tell you, at Radio St. Lucia, we started off well and so on. We were good, but the milk, if we can describe it as that, turned sour. But it's showing, from what I can tell, this thing was put up by United Pack. Now, United Pack, isn't it one of the most, I'm not afraid to say, one of the most vicious organs of the United Workers' Party in terms of what it does to people and their reputations, and mounting some of the most savage attacks on people's character and the propaganda, no holds barred kind of, And it says, with scores of houses traversing this once deplorable road, and I don't even really know where Lionel Ellis is. One time I was under the impression that he's from Leclerc, or he lives at Leclerc. Then I got the feeling that he was living in the region of Mondudon, top of Mondudon, where the same place that Sky FM was, which at one time he had leased to Kyrie FM and so on. I figure that's his property. I don't know if he's moved to somewhere else. I don't really know where the gentleman resides, so I can't tell you where this refers to. With scores of houses traversing this once deplorable road, one man stood to benefit the most from the benevolence of his former prime minister and political leader, who now happens to be the Minister of Infrastructure. So right away I read that. I said, this is coming from United PAC, drawing attention to the fact that good road and paved road and so on is going to Lionel Ellis's property. Then I realized, okay, they don't care if they have to put Lionel Ellis on the spot and show him up. It's Stephenson King they want to go after. And I said same thing with CIP. Alan Shastney and these people, they don't mind going after, what's her name, the Flosac lady who's the lawyer, is her name Brenda Flosac. Jeffrey Dubule, who I understand is a first cousin of Alan Shastney's wife. Different people who are involved with the CIP, they don't care. They go in after them because they have bigger fish to fry. They're playing for bigger game, bigger results and so on. So they don't have friends. I looked at that and I said, but I wonder, when Alan Shastney does this kind of things in his determination, in his obsession, in his desperation to regain political power, and then he comes and says he didn't win because his class didn't vote for him. I'm not sure who he means by his class, but if he means the upper crust, people who are Flosacs, and the connection of the Flosac, Sir Vincent Flosac's wife, Lady Marilyn Flosac, is a Bristol. So you get the connection that maybe he feels this sort of people, that it was a given that they would have voted for him. But when you're doing those kinds of things to those very people that you probably are the ones referring to and consider to be your class, how are you going to expect those people to vote for you? How are you going to expect those people to continue to support you? But I could be surprising. But anyway, let's continue with this thing about Lionel Ellis. United PAC. With scores of houses traversing this once deplorable road, one man stood to benefit the most from the benevolence of his former prime minister and political leader, who now happens to be the Minister for Infrastructure. Lionel Ellis is the proud recipient of a new road, driveway and drains compliments the taxpayers, even when he publicly denounces the government and rallies support for Alan Shastney and the rest of the despicables. They can attempt to say a lot of things, but this government is clearly for the people. Some might say too much for UWP. Enjoy your new infrastructure, Lionel Ellis. After all, it is the year of infrastructure. Now, I don't know if this is originating from United PAC, or if they simply shared it, copied it, forwarded it, whatever. But I wonder, why would United PAC want to draw attention in this manner to Lionel Ellis? And I'm sure there are other people who benefit from it. Being the man who used to denounce the government and so on. And as far as I remember, Lionel Ellis and Stephenson King, they don't have a good vibe between them. I don't know. One time, Stephenson King was the guest on a program. I think it was Rick Wayne's program. And Lionel Ellis called the program and went to town on Stephenson King about how, after Alan Shastney won the leadership and Stephenson King was there singing Bind Us Together, Lord, and the same Lord that he was singing Bind Us Together, then he went around trying to undermine Shastney. I mean, he ripped into him. Ellis is like that, as can project. I found it strange when they made him communications director of UWP, but what else is strange of UWP? He has this little angry thing about him, and maybe I have anger too, but he projects it in an absolutely uninhibited manner, a vexed kind of fella and this kind of thing. And I don't know how you can bring people, but I don't want to make this about him. And then I went back and I said to myself, but that's not making sense, until I realized this is the game plan. And I think Labour Party people need to be on the guard, on the lookout about this sort of thing, because I'll tell you why. United PAC, a UWP organ, and a very vicious one at that, as I said. This is where my notes I took. Is trying to stir up anger against the government by its supporters. In other words, Labour supporters will get vexed against the government and to make them turn against the SLP for being too nice to Flambeau's at the expense of its own. So Labour will say, look at that, look at Ellis, who says so many things, and they're building nice road for him, and they have so many people who can't get a footpath, and this kind of thing, at the expense of its own. And thereby put Philip J. Pierce's policy of no victimization, no discrimination on the defensive. Scrivener has said straight that he is not going to discriminate against people and deprive them of projects and infrastructure and development and human, needs and so on, just because they are UWP or opposition supporters that they don't support him. A lot of people, they have a problem. He said he's not terminating contract. Milton Daisy was one. He is sending him home, let his contract run by and so on. He's not doing that. And I believe this is intended to generate anger against Philip JP and his government among Labour Party supporters to show. And they will continue to do that even if it means sacrificing their own, putting them on the spot, holding them up to public anger and ridicule and so on to show, Stevenson King, he fixing up Lionel Ellis. That's a ploy. That's a device. That's a stunt. That's a trick. The encouragement I can give you is don't fall for it. My guest is here. Let me go attend to her to bring her into the studio while we take another commercial break.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
If you recently submitted a claim to the National Insurance Corporation, you also need to submit your financial account information to get paid. All NIC benefit claims are now paid conveniently through your local financial institution. To provide your bank or credit union account information, simply log on to the NIC website at www.stlucianic.org. Click the Financial Account Information tab and fill out the form. It's that easy. You only submit once. Ensure you enter the details of an open, active account in your name. If you do not have access to the internet, visit any NIC office to collect a financial account information form. Help us to help you. NIC, for the benefit of us all.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with the real issues on this Friday. It is the 22nd day of the month of November 2024, our final program for the week. We're happy that it's coming on the Feast of Musicians, St. Cecilia's Day, but we've spoken about that already. For many of us, the weekend is a time to tuck into our delicacies, and a lot of those delicacies, the crispy, flavorful taste of them have to do with the fats that go in them, whether it's the short crust, whether it is the floats, whether it is the pigtail or the pig snout, and so many other things like that, they have to do with the fats. Over the years, I've found it so difficult to wrap my mind and to keep up with all the information overload about fats. If they're not confusing, they certainly are dizzying. It's about omega this, omega 3, omega 6, about polyunsaturates and monounsaturates, and about good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, high density lipoproteins and low density. I mean, there is no shortage of all this about the fats. But today I have someone to talk with us, to speak with us about at least one aspect of it, which I've read a lot, never quite been able to understand it. Trans fats, is what we're going to be talking about today. Maybe it has a relationship to all these saturates and unsaturates and omegas and all that sort of thing. I want to say welcome to The Real Issues. I think it's the first time on this program to Miss Lisa Hunt, a nutritionist in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs. Nice to have you with us, Lisa.
Thank you for having me.
And you are coming here to talk with us about trans fats.
Yes.
I hope they're not fats that transition us from this life into somewhere else and so on, and in between kind of fats. But take it away and tell us.
It actually is a transition.
Yes, well, tell us about trans fats and why they're important and why they should be of concern to us.
Yes, so trans fats has transitioned from liquid oils that is been converted to solid. So you take the healthy oils and they add hydrogen to it to make it solid. And so in that process, it makes the fat very unhealthy. And so I am here just to share with the public how dangerous this ingredient in our food is to us.
And isn't that exactly how they make a margarine, for example?
Yeah,
they take the oil and they do something so that it then becomes something which is over there as part of my
exactly what happens. So margarine is one of the trans fats. It has trans fats.
Okay, but we have so much margarine around.
Yes, so there are, and that's a good point. So you have margarine that are healthier and those that are the harder ones. So any margarine that is not soft at room temperature is hard would have trans fats in there. So the harder the margarine is, the more trans fats it contains. So that's exactly how margarine is made. Is you add hydrogen to it and it becomes solid. And manufacturers did that. It was really because of the I was laughing at what you were saying, all those different fats that we have. So we have the saturated fats, right? And we've known that it can increase the risk of heart disease and stuff like that.
What are saturated fats? Examples of them that you can give us?
Butter. So butter is an unsaturated fat. So the fats that come from the animals.
It's unsaturated or
saturated?
Okay.
Saturated. So saturated fats. So Trans fats, I want to be as simple as possible and don't want to confuse anybody. So trans fats came about as an alternative to saturated fats, because you're trying to find a healthy option, a healthy alternative, because saturated fats was believed to be causing health problems, heart disease, etc. So
we can say trans fats is an artificial construct.
It is an artificial. It is artificial. It is man-made, and so this is why so at the time, man thought they were doing something good, where they were trying to make this type of fat from healthier oils, and so years along the line, but century, I don't know how long it is, but they realized that the death toll was still increasing with heart disease, and so it has been found that it is a killer. And so there are so many of our foods that we consume that has trans fats, and people need to be aware of it. Now, when I speak of that, it sounds like doom and gloom, but these same foods that we are consuming can be trans fats free, because in the other countries, some of the metropolitan countries, they have been removed or reduced drastically. And I would want to mention some of those foods because they are so commonly eaten. Yeah. We have bread, we have biscuits, cookies, a lot of the packaged and processed foods that we consume, we buy at the supermarkets. A lot of them contain trans fats,
including the ones that we make locally, the local Creole bread and so on.
It can, depending on what is used to make the bread,
whether it is lard or coconut oil.
Yes. So if the bread is made with lard, that would be saturated fat, not trans fats. Now, trans fats are worse than saturated fats.
Tell me examples of trans fats. You've mentioned about margarine. And
margarine.
So lard is saturated, but it's not trans.
So the copycat of lard would be shortening. So shortening would be the trans fats.
Okay.
Now, that's fats that is found in food. You can also generate trans fats from the way that you cook. So if you fry, like using oils over and over to fry your foods, can generate trans fats.
Does that happen a lot? The fast food places and so on, someone has said to me, I've never seen it happen, that they fry their floats, they leave the oil and they'll use that same oil again.
Oh yes, it happens all the time. Even sometimes when you eat floats, back in the day when I used to buy these things, when you eat, sometimes you eat the bake or the float, you could almost taste like it was the chicken was fried in there, and it's like it should never be that way. The other way I can understand, but not after you fried an animal product to put. You can see that sometimes the color looks so black. You can reuse it, but it's the number of times that it's reused. So the more you use it, the more it generates trans fats.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you also get trans fat from the refinement process, like when you're refining oils, because you have oils that is natural, and then you have it, they refine it to make it remove. Like you have coconut oil, you have refined coconut oil. So in the refinement process, you can also generate trans fats. So let me backtrack a little bit. There are two types of trans fats. You have the naturally occurring ones, which you get from red meat and butter. And but it's just a little bit, and this is not concerning. The concerning one is what you call industrially produced trans fats. That's the one that is man-made. So I use that term because anybody may need to Google it and they can get more information. It is called industrially produced trans fats. That's the one they make in the lab.
So they deliberately make it?
Yeah, because that's how margarine is made. So that's it's made.
So that they can harden whatever the fat.
It's deliberately made. At the time, it was an alternative, like I said. So, but also it helps to keep the food. It doesn't go rancid as fast as the other fats. Okay. So it's able to keep the food on the shelf in the supermarket for much longer, and that was another reason why it was created. Not only for the healthy alternative, but it was also a cheaper way of making oil, making fats, and so that is stable or solid at room temperature.
But let me ask you this: I see coconut oil. Sometimes on the shelf you see it is liquid, and I don't know if it is when the weather or when the air condition is working well. You see this thing is white and solid.
Yeah, that's fine. In fact, I prefer to do that than if it doesn't do it.
That's not trans. That's
not trans. That's it is a saturated fat. So it is supposed to do that. But so trans fats now, basically you have trans fats oil. If you have oil like soya oil or whatever. So soya oil is liquid at room temperature, but when it has been converted to trans fat, it will now be solid at room temperature. And when you get those those stick butters,
Okay.
stick margarine. Sorry, not butter. That's an error. The margarines, the stick ones, yeah.
Okay, that means
That would be
that means they've been hydrogenated.
Hydrogenated, yes, and it
Okay.
has become that, and
Okay.
and this is a harmful ingredient. It's a food safety risk. It's literally causing not just diseases but death. In 2010,
It's really causing people to transition out of this
Yes.
life into the grave.
yes, because I mean, research has shown. I mean, WHO, if you Google, will tell you how in 2010, about 500,000 people were dying out of this. But now it's gone down a little bit because some countries have removed it from their food supply. But it really kills for sure. It
Okay.
causes the arteries to clog, and so heart disease.
Do the
is,
labels show you that I can read it? And
Yes,
know, you see
sometimes.
this thing have a trans a cemetery vibe.
Yes, sometimes. But some of the labels would have hydrogenated.
Okay.
Now it's like all labels tell you zero trans fats. All of them will tell you that, but you have to look at the ingredients. It will tell you partially hydrogenated oils or fats, but still, it can still have it, and they're not putting it on there. So it's still not the best, but it's good to read because we've looked at the ingredient list, and some of them still have it. Also, you may see shortening on the ingredient
Yes,
list,
yes.
and shortening has trans fats, or it is a trans fat. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: if trans fats are so so dangerous, why have they not outlawed it or say?
Well, that's what we're trying to do.
We're not importing that, or we don't want
That's
it on
what we're
our
trying to
market,
do.
or to say a warning must be on it to say contains trans fat, so
Yes.
people right away will say.
By WHO, by laws, FDA laws, they must indicate that something has trans fats. However, even if a food item may say zero trans fats, it can have 0.5, and that is legal to say it's zero trans fats.
Okay.
However, that they'll put it per serving. However, if you consume, let's say the serving is
1 tablespoon.
yes, and you use 2 tablespoons, you have to add it. So now So these are all of the things that people have to be aware of. Now you're talking about why is it not banned, and this is what we are trying to do. In the region, we've been meeting, having meetings and seeing how we're gonna get this thing out of our food system. A lot of our foods in the region we import, so we have to put legislation in place. We have to put policies in place to ensure that these foods do not come into our countries. So the first step is to sensitize the people, which is what I'm doing, because a lot of times when you tell people they cannot have this or that, you have outrage. People start to say, why can't my child have this and all this kind of thing. So the first step is to sensitize them. Let them know what is trans fats, why it is so bad for them, and then they themselves can demand we want these things out of our food. Now,
is it sometimes a matter of affordability? Because over the years I've noticed that a lot of the things that they tell us are bad for us, they tend, because of mass marketing and mass production and so on, they tend to be the ones that people can afford. You understand? I'm just saying,
because the other ones with the money, they can bring the price down. And remember, those industries, they don't really care about our health. All they care about is their pockets.
I've heard some bad vibes about soya based and soya products and so on. But you go to a supermarket and most of the oils you see there are soya. Most of the
one of the things I have about soya is especially
it says hormonal. It can do hormonal havoc in the body. I don't know if it's true. You're in so many things.
It has its pros and its cons. So I remember doing some research on it, and I remember if you are pre-menopause, it was not safer because it kind of mimics sort of the hormones. But post-menopause, they said it was okay because that time you have so it has the pros and cons.
Okay.
Our pockets will always be a determinant of how we choose things. But if you know something is very bad for us, and it as much as we have a personal responsibility, the country has a responsibility as to what we import. And like I said, in some of those countries, like European countries, they have removed it from their foods. So if we do not remove it from our foods, or if we do not ban it from the foods that we are importing, we will be a dumping ground. Not just we, but the Caribbean. None of the Caribbean islands have gotten that far. And that's why we are trying to work together to see how we can remove it from our foods, because this thing literally kills people. It is the worst type of fat. There are no health benefits to it. Even if we talk about saturated fat, we talk about reducing it. But this one, we want to eliminate it, remove it, because there's nothing good in there.
Okay. Can your body convert? Because I understand there's some things we demonize them and we say they're not good. But sometimes in the natural process of assimilation, the body itself converts the thing. Like after all the war against cholesterol, I read somewhere that the body actually needs cholesterol and uses it. And the body will convert certain things to cholesterol that it needs for your hormones and your testosterone and all this kind of thing. So
we always knew there was good and bad.
Okay.
Maybe we did not do a good job. I say we as a country did not do a good job at explaining to people that there is good cholesterol and bad cholesterol.
So does the body convert things to trans fat on its own?
No. The body does not convert it, but it would your cooking styles and your cooking practices can convert into trans fats, but we are not aware. Maybe we will. This will be something that will come up, but for now, I don't know if the body can convert any fat into trans fats. But the body makes cholesterol. Yes, it does that by using raw materials like the saturated fat to make cholesterol, and we do need cholesterol. But there's the good and the bad, and they are good by virtue of one takes its cholesterol away from your body, and one brings it into your body.
That's the high density, low density kind of thing.
Yes, the low. So the high density trans fats reduce it. That's the one you want to be a little higher. Trans fats reduce it. And the low density trans fat increase it. So it does,
that was counterintuitive for me, because when I read about high density, I say, okay, that's concentrated, that'll do damage. And then I'm reading that the high density lipoprotein is actually the good cholesterol,
yes, the good
and the low density one, which I figure, okay, that's not as thick and heavy and suffocating. That is the bad fella.
You got the high and the low, but the names I don't want to get too technical, but yes, it's so trans fats does a number on that. It actually increases the risk of getting type 2 diabetes.
Oh, really? Okay.
There's a lot of the increasing weight gain, and some, this morning I was on this program and this guy was talking about, even Alzheimer's disease. But there are lots of things that trans fats does in the body, because our body doesn't know how to use it up. It's foreign to the body. It's man-made. And so what it does, it gets deposited into our arteries. It clogs the arteries, and this is where you get the heart attack. So over time, as you continue consuming it, because it's in so many foods. It's in bread, it's in fried foods, chips, and the things that people consume on a daily basis. All of us are consuming it.
Let me ask you this before we go for the next break. I grew up, at the time I grew up, making our own cooking oil. Real cocoa especially was a common thing. We loved it. It always had a good taste.
I love it too.
There was the cacalwil after that you used to eat the residue and so on, which is always so nice. And whether it is on your sardine or on your breadfruit, whatever, it tasted so good. Until, I suppose, it's easier, the less coconuts, technology to buy your cooking oil and so on. Does it matter in terms of difference whether you make your own coconut oil, which I'm sure very few people do now, and the one that you buy and so on? Is it that the one that you buy made at the factory at the time in Soufre and so on, that it was more dangerous than the one you made at home?
That's a good question, because I know now everybody's about organic, but the one that is made at home is perfectly fine. The one that is made in the factory, the issue is it goes through a refinement process, and refinement of anything is what makes it bad. So, but the one that we are making home, and people are still making it, and they're actually selling it, these are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You make your coconut oil at home, okay? It's better. Let's forget about the one from the factory and all of that, whether from Malaysia or Soufre or whatever. Does the manner in which you use it matter? Because on the one hand, you make your coconut oil, you get your breadfruit and your sardine and your cucumber salad, and you take a teaspoon and you pour it over it, and it's so delicious, etc. As opposed to now you use some of that oil to fry some fish with. Does the frying because I've heard the high temperatures to which you subject oil in terms of its use can make a difference in how it's in there. Does that make a difference?
Yeah, yes. So for example, you can use your coconut oil to fry. However, the high temperature, now the high temperature has to be above 200 degrees Fahrenheit. But you don't have to fry at that
which
high level.
Most of us will not
get to that, yes. So it is okay if you fried. Now, as anything else, you have to watch. I know we use the term moderation, but you have to watch the quantity that you are having. Okay. So as much as you may like your fried fish, try not to make it something that you have all the time. So you say, okay, in my Friday I have my little fried fish, And now you can fry, you can pan fry. You don't have to immerse
Deep
it
fry,
in oil.
okay, so
you
there's
can put it in a little non-stick pan, and it's something I do personally.
Okay.
So you don't have to immerse it in oil. So it will have less of that oil in there.
Okay.
Yes. So I hope that answers.
All right, folks. We at 1:30 now, and our guest in the studio with us today is Miss Lisa Hunt. She is a nutritionist with the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs. And today she's here speaking with us on the matter of trans fats. And I can tell you so far in less than half an hour, it's been quite an education for me. I mean, I'd heard about all these trans fats and I really didn't understand, what it meant in terms of how you alter fats and so on. So let's take the break. When we come back, I have a couple more questions for her. And if you want to call and, add anything or ask any question that is within her capability to answer, I'm sure she'll be glad to. Real Issues is on.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with The Real Issues on this Friday, November 22nd. I'm Shelton Daniel. In studio with me is nutritionist Lisa Hunt from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs. We were talking about trans fats. Now, before I actually open the phone lines, Lisa, for many years we were told that eating things that are based on plant, that are plant-based or plant-derived, that they were healthier. So I think a lot of people would have embraced margarine as a great improvement over butter. So, instead of old English butter and Anchor butter, I would want my glow spread and my so on, because these are margarines, they're based on plants and whatever it is. Then we are beginning to hear from what you've told us that the margarine, and I'm sorry for mentioning the brands, it's not any attack on them. They're very well known, that in order to get them to behave like butter, to be solid and spreadable on that toast and so on, that they had to do the hydrogenation and all of that, which is where we get the trans aspect of them coming through. Does that mean that now we've shifted back to saying that it's healthier to eat the animal derived butter, the one that you get from the cows and so on, that it may be saturated, but it doesn't have trans fats? Which is the worst thing, the saturation or the trans?
The trans is the worst. But let me go back to what you're saying, because I don't want to confuse people. Plant-based is the best. It will always be the best. But the margarine, and the margarine is not a brand. Margarine is it's not a brand. So it's okay to say margarine. Margarine is not natural. Whilst it came from a vegetable, the oil is the natural state.
So what are
the margarine has
non-margarine plant-based fats that you can use safely? They're not margarine, so they don't have trans and so on.
There are actually margarines that are trans fats free.
Okay.
I'm not going to even name any, but if a way to detect the degree of trans fats in a margarine is leave it at room temperature. And I can think right now there are those that almost turn to oil. So this one is okay. But you see the ones that they stick just like a butter, and you have to cut with a knife. These are the ones that you should stay away from. These ones are like trans fats. Yes, so we don't want people to go back to thinking that animal is best. The margarines, hard margarines, are worse because they're man-made, they're artificial. Most things are artificial. If you think about it, are actually bad for us. Because they like to tamper with things that are natural, and then they sometimes make things worse.
So you're saying there's no advantage in using butter, real butter, to spread on my toast?
Butter is better than the trans fats, margarine. So yes, the butter has its place. However, with anything else, we have to watch the portioning, the amount that we take,
and how often and all of that.
Yes. But butter, it's okay to use butter, just don't overdo it.
Wonderful. In terms of oils that heat alters them, I'm told, the molecular structure, and when you heat it for frying or whatever.
When you heat it kind of some of them they disintegrate. The integrity is not the same, because of its. And so not only does it can generate trans fats, but it can also create some carcinogens that can cause cancer.
That too.
Yes, so you don't want to heat at, and it's fine to be, if you're frying something, fry it at a lower heat, it will still end up cooking. You understand? It doesn't have to be at a very high heat.
Marvelous.
Because it can generate,
Marvelous. I was actually doing some reading and about the different oils and so on that can withstand temperatures without their molecular structure.
Yes, and it varies for different oils.
And it said avocado oil is one of them. And I said, we have avocado in St. Lucia, but I've never known how to do it. I know
the oil,
how to mash up the seeds, or if it's the avocado itself. And I said, if that's the case, then maybe avocado, we can turn it into something.
Yes, avocado is so healthy.
Yes,
maybe one day we can figure out how to make the oil, but I think we like to eat it so much that we don't want to even turn it into oil.
Certainly. And I can tell you the oil itself, which I saw a few imports of it and so on. I'm very sorry, I didn't even want to try it because the price.
So I'm thinking when we have avocado in season and it's all wasting away, maybe we can turn it into oil.
Maybe somebody can try a thing.
When it's out of season, we can get the oil to be used.
A lot of the so-called healthy things, whether it's olive or this or whatever, even sunflower and so on, you look and you see the price of them because they're all imported and so on.
Very expensive.
All right, folks, I don't know if Lisa wants to add anything further. You came and you know what you want to really get out there. So
this month we've been doing a campaign, what I call a sensitization campaign, basically to talk to the people and let them know what are trans fats and what are the foods they can find trans fats in, and also how it can be generated, because like I said, our cooking practices can also generate trans fats. Street foods using the oil over and over again will generate trans fats, and to basically let people know why is it bad for our health. So these simple with these simple goals in mind, that's what we are doing this month. We'll be having some PSAs so that people will be aware of the same messages on the PSAs, as well as some media cards. So this is our first step in sensitizing the public, and then next year we will take some more steps. We will have some consultation, although we had consultation with some of the stakeholders already, but we want to have a bigger consultation, because this is above us. This has to do with trade and Ministry of Commerce and Ministry of Education. So we really have to bring everybody on board and see how we are going to get this harmful compound, as WHO calls it. Doesn't even call it a food, harmful compound in our food. And I want people to know that we can still have the foods that you love without the trans fats. Okay. But because they come in our country and we don't have any laws or regulations, we have those foods with trans fats in them. But there are other countries that have the same foods and it doesn't have trans fats.
Are there any food preparation methods that can release trans fats? We mentioned frying, but we have a lot of roasting and a lot of barbecuing.
Yes, any method of cooking that goes above the 200 degrees Celsius would start to generate it. Okay. So every 10 degrees Celsius increase would increase the degree of trans fats. You mentioned baking? Yes, baking. If you bake higher than 250 or 200 thereabouts. So once you get higher than 200, I was looking at my oven today. I see it goes up to 280. So you don't have to bake at 280. You can bake at 200, 210. Because once it starts to pass that figure, it will start to. It will be a little bit. It will not be much. But if it goes up to 300, so the higher you put your oven, the more it will generate it.
So there's probably some danger in our local bread, the Creole bread.
Oh
that
yes,
this
definitely.
wood-fired oven, because when you take
not
out
only the heat, but the type of fat that is used to make it.
the lard and all of that.
Them,
Okay. Wow.
Well, the lard is not trans fat; it's the shortening. So I think shortening is cheaper than lard. Shortening is like the trans fats of the lard, if you understand what I mean.
Get you.
Yeah, and it's cheaper, I think.
All right, folks, let's open the phone lines. If anyone has any comment that you want to make regarding the use of fats and trans fats and the dangers of the type of fats that we use. Life has changed. It's not the same, like where many of us grew up and so on. We probably couldn't afford, there were probably no supermarkets around, say, this and that we used to use and so on. But now we have to be conscious of all the different brands of margarine and shortening and all the things that we do, and our pastries and things that we use. So we have an expert here with us, a nutritionist, Miss Lisa Hunt from the Ministry of Health. The telephone numbers are the same, 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that, and I think we're getting our first call. So let's take that call straight away. Good afternoon, Real Issues. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hi, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, Shelton. Good afternoon, Lisa.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. We're having a little crackling, but I don't think it's your fault, so
Lisa, I first will think nutritionist and the nutritionist, but that is not important to this afternoon. Lisa, you keep saying that we do not have laws in St. Lucia. Now,
did she say that?
You, why is it that we don't have the laws to regulate trans fat in this country?
It's not
what is
overnight
preventing
thing.
us from having the laws? Is there any
we will be getting there.
laws?
Or should I wait for him to finish?
Yeah, let him finish, is it something with the speaker? I don't know.
I will listen off here because you're rapping. I can hardly hear you. So I will listen off here.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So you're saying why don't we have laws? The region, no one of the Caribbean islands has any laws in place right now. So we are getting to that stage. So first, like I said, we have to sensitize the people about what trans fats are, where do you find, etc. We have to also let them know what the replacements are. So there's a process that we will follow. In the meantime, we are having engagements with PAHO and World Health Organization to see how we can get this legislation going. We also have what you call a food bill, I think a food safety bill, and it's probably a good place where we can actually put this, is because it's a food safety risk. So the legislation process, it's ongoing. We are trying to strategize where is the best place to fit it, whether we have a separate legislation or whether it could just be as part of the food safety bill. So we will have legislation, but it's not something that happens overnight. But we are working towards it.
All right. Someone has sent a message saying, is peanut butter safe?
Peanut butter, it depends. There are some peanut butter that has PHOs, which is the partially hydrogenated oil. So you have to look at the label to see if it's there. But you do have peanut butter that does not have it.
All right.
So you read the labels.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But it's most peanut butter will be highly processed and so on.
Yes, and the processing, like I say, generates it. But I have seen peanut butter with quite a bit of them with PHOs.
Okay.
So, and children consume that all the time.
Thank you so very much. We'll send a message saying I thought I was the only one. Night driving is a nightmare for me. I've almost given up. Well, it is night driving. It can't be a daymare for you, Okay, there's no such word. I got another message saying your audio is breaking up when important information is coming out. Shake my head. Jaquan, you better flee when this is over, because somebody says anytime important information, I'm breaking up. Okay, I know it's not you, my buddy. Let me see if I have any other messages on the WhatsApp commentary right now. All right, Lisa, go ahead with anything further.
Yeah, but we will continue the education. We will be going to schools. We will be going to the wellness centers to have conversations. We've had workplaces where we speak about trans fats. We go to churches, you name it. Anybody who wants us to come and speak with whether it's their congregation or at their workplaces, we are open to this, because it's really about educating the entire public of St. Lucia. We want them to understand, what is it that they're putting in our bodies, because we are all consuming it, and they must understand that the risk that they are putting themselves under. Even consuming a donut is about 5 grams. It can vary, but a donut is about 5 grams of trans fats, and every 5 grams of trans fat that we consume increases the risk of heart disease by about 20-25%.
Okay.
So people need to understand that everything we eat, can increase our chances of getting sick. Yeah.
All right. Over the years, I've heard that there are some fats that are so good, so healthy. Do we have a caller on the line? Do we? All right. 4879849. You can WhatsApp call us on this number. I'm hearing the voice. And 4533911. All right. So I don't want to keep callers waiting. Yeah, you're on the air, caller. I didn't realize you were there. Go ahead. Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead. Caller, can you hear me? Right. Okay, something seems to be a little bit amiss. And so on here. Don't know what it could be.
So to the person who said, important information on hand, you guys, they will hear the information some other place. Yeah. Because it's not something that we will stop right now.
Okay, let's take that call. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues. Hello? Yeah. Hi, caller, are you there?
I was saying, also we would like
While this call is trying to talk, the volume on incoming is very low, so don't know. Sorry about that. We have a technical issue over here, and we would need to get it resolved so that we can have a conversation with you. As I was saying, Lisa, you about some fats that are. In fact, I actually ordered the book once, and the title of it was "Fats That Heal and Fats That Kill."
Yeah.
And they were saying, for example, you take a coconut or a piece of copra, I suppose the natural copra, and you munch on it.
Coconut, not I wouldn't say the copra.
Well, not the copra that you roast in the oven. There's the kai copra and so on, but there's some coconut that naturally
coconut is very healthy.
Turns into copra. There are other things like you might catch your sardine during the season and so on. Not the one that you buy in the tin, but we used to go by the sea and throw what you call
anything that has less processing. You have different degrees of processing. So having the sardine placed in the can is a form of processing.
But what they're saying is that if you already have a body that is damaged or hurt by trans fats and whatever saturates and so on, that making these things part of your lifestyle, you eat a piece of coconut, you eat some natural sardine, that it can help to reverse the. Is that true?
Well, I believe that, for example, your arteries are starting to be clogged because of you eating unhealthy. You now decide to make a change. Yes, your body can heal itself.
Avocado,
as long as you have not gotten too far off where it's irreparable. But in terms of the clogging of the arteries, you start to eat healthy. Eat your peas and your beans, the fiber to help get rid of the plaque and the cholesterol buildup. Your nuts and your seeds. People tend not to eat those healthy seeds.
Avocado is very highly spoken of.
Avocado is because of the type of fat it has, monounsaturated fat. So this type of fat would increase the HDL that you want. Remember we said the HDL is the good cholesterol. It will reduce the LDL. So avocado is a very healthy food. Very healthy.
Another thing that's very highly spoken of in the context of fats, and I want to know why. I mean, I grew up, cod liver oil is like it was a cure-all and so on. The parents encourage you to drink cod liver oil. You have a grapefruit, you cut the top and you take out the middle and you put some cod liver oil and grapefruit, a little sugar. Yeah. And it's said to be so good and so on. What's it about cod liver oil?
Cod liver oil.
In our culture, in our tradition, in our history, it's been such a big deal for me.
I'm not too sure, but I
you don't sound like you like it, okay? So
I think it must have been the type of, it's a fish oil, right?
Yes.
So, fish oils with the, omega-3 fats and stuff, and how it helps with the brain and helps to, reduce the risk of disease. So I suspect cod liver oil is in that same category because it is a fish oil, but it tastes horrible. Now they try to put some vitamin C.
They put capsules now, so you don't have to take the taste of it and so on.
I remember having that as a child. I was like, the taste never left, no matter what else you have after that.
Okay. I actually loved it and still do. What about other things? I'm just thinking about the natural space where we're in, that we can substitute for all the harmful fats and so on. Again, you grew up the zaman, the almond that you can break.
Yeah, all your nuts. Yeah. The nuts have healthy oils.
Okay.
So it's okay to have the nuts. The higher the problem is the processed foods.
Okay.
Is a processed foods that is causing all the problems, because with what happens to the oil converting, it's a processing that is taking place. So anytime your food has been changed from its natural state into some form of processing, it either loses nutrients, or it transformed, or some is, apart from losing it, the whole structure, and they add other things to it like additives and stuff like that. And so these are the things that have health implications.
Okay, all right.
So you want your food natural. You want your wholesome food. That's what you're having. That's what you're having. You can recognize it. Anytime the food is unrecognizable, it has gone through what you call ultra processed, and they're usually high in fat, sugar, salt, trans fats, and so they're deficient in the nutrients.
Okay. How do you think we can beat the trans fats? Because I gather that a lot of them, they're well marketed, they're well packaged, they're tasty, whatever additives.
When we have the laws,
do we have a substitution that we can substitute?
Yes, in all the countries they are using, what they do, they mix the oils. So it's like they use coconut oil can be mixed with vegetable oil, and actually doing it at home. So as much as coconut oil has saturated fat, although it's not as bad as the others, but so you can mix it with the vegetable oil, and so something like that.
Okay, all right, okay.
But when we get to that stage because we have to engage the persons who are preparing food at the restaurants, people who are baking bread, so that they can have healthy alternatives instead of using shortening and.
Okay, all right, okay. Let me see if I can get some of the comments on the Facebook Live in lieu of us not being able to get the phone calls because of a problem with an audio cable that we have. I'm sorry about that, folks. Let me see that. The taste will tell you if the oil is fresh or not. Well, I think we know that in St. Lucia about the was,
Yeah, but it may not be. It may not change the taste too much if using trans fats, and that's why the industries and restaurants, they use it, because it doesn't change the taste so much. If for some reason it goes rancid, it doesn't go rancid fast.
So the hydrogenation kind of counters the rancidity. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure if it's the hydrogenation part, but it's for some reason it does not. It doesn't change the flavor much, and that's why it's profitable.
Yeah. Okay, Jude Pokes, hello, good afternoon to you. He says those MSG not good at all. Well, we're not talking about MSG, which I think stands for monosodium glutamate, a taste enhancer.
Yes, I know, but unless he thinks it's trans fats for some people is new, so I don't know if he.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad vibes about the MSG as well. I can't really tell you nowadays. It's very difficult. What's accurate information and what's really some fad or hype because somebody wants to sell you something that's supposed to counter MSG, whatever. People
not always honest on those.
Jude says, even up here I buy my passion fruit pulp and tamarind pulp to make my juice. Good for you. Anna Rose Animoni says, but the non-stick pan, I read that it's not really good to use either. I think that was a reference to what you said about doing the low
there are
heat.
different ones. There's the healthier ones and the ones that are not so good.
Conrad says air fryer is the best. I've never owned one. I was asking someone what's the experience with it.
It's a good alternative. Okay. It's a good alternative because you could just sprinkle a little bit of oil and you can still get the
crispiness
flavor.
and all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard about the air fryer and I've been thinking whether it's something that would be worth my while and a good buy and so on, so that you don't have to go and buy the deep fried stuff.
Yeah.
And fries and all of that. That's all of them. I've been told you can make your own fries with.
But even baking the fries, if you can put a nice little, in the oven, I find it tastes good enough. Like for me.
Yes. Okay.
And the children.
Maria Bonaparte says palm oil is the best. Maria, I've also heard that canola oil is better. I've heard that sunflower seed oil is better, and I've heard
there's a lot of controversy in which oil is the best.
Yeah, virgin, whatever pressed, whatever cold pressed and this pressed and expeller pressed. So many different things. That's why I said I was saying to Lisa at the start that I'm confused. It's so many things.
It's
about
overload of information.
Oh yeah, omega-6 and omega-3 and the coconut oil. There are different acids in it and lauric acid and all kind of different things you hear about it.
So we don't want to give like when you're speaking to the public, you don't tell them all these things. So you just let them know what is it that's the information that they need, and if they want to do further reading, and fine, but try not to confuse them.
So the palm oil and all of that, I've heard bad vibes about it. There was a time I heard bad vibes about coconut oil, but you never know if coconut oil has taken off and is very popular. It's the refinement of coconut oil is fine. Coconut oil is good. It's the refinement process that can make those oils not be so good when they are refined. But if you have them like you make at your home, they're fine, they're good, they're healthy. Yes.
But anything that you refine, the refinement process makes everything worse than what it is or bad.
Eusebia Jean-Baptiste says, not all of us, so many people, lots of fruit trees and vegetables we can use for food. We agree with that. But sometimes our lives have become so, city-centered and
that's the problem. That's the problem. We are westernized too much. We want to eat everything that comes in a bag. And sometimes we say, food is expensive, but people buy food so much. How could you say, I agree that food is expensive, but if you are able to buy a meal every day, if you take that money and you buy, real raw food, your money will stretch further. All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Eusebia Jean-Baptiste believes that all oils are unhealthy. Eat the foods in the natural state instead. Maybe the foods have some oil in them as well.
Yeah, they do. Natural fats. Yeah.
She adds that all fried foods taste so good, but they are very unhealthy for us, especially some businesses reuse oil over and over. I'm sure that's true.
Yes.
Where to save and cut corners.
Street foods are famous for having trans fats because of the oil that is being used over and over.
Yes.
So it generates, trans fats. It creates trans fats.
Yes. Eusebia Jean-Baptiste says, good afternoon to your beautiful guest, Lisa Hunt. And Jude Pokes Harlow says, good afternoon, Lisa Hunt. All right. We will save lots of money if we eat healthy, less visits to the doctors. It's all about money for the business people.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, very true.
All right. Good afternoon to Susanna Smith, who's watching from California. Shelly Fanis, Conrad, Esther Joseph. Appreciate you being here with us. Lots of other comments pertaining to what I said earlier about the roads and the road markings and the Forever Road and, Merle Goddard says the non-stick pan isn't good either for us. Lisa has already answered that you have to make a choice in terms of
also have the cast iron ones that can be used to
Anna Rose Anemone believes clay pots, cast iron, stainless steel.
Maybe I just said that.
Maybe a good choices. Or maybe our old style Kanawi,
cast iron is a good one.
Mahoney Oje says the paint scripts off from the non-stick pans after a while. Ever wondered if all the paint gets infused into the foods we prepare in these non-stick vegetables? It's a little scary, I guess, to think about it.
It is.
It's a little scary to think that the paint, and the non-stick thing might be going into your kidney. You think you can be scary, Mahoney? I'll be even more scary. So we have about a minute left, Lisa. I want to give it to you to do your little wrap up,
Yeah, so getting trans fats out of our foods is going to be a challenge. We do have personal responsibility, but we also have the responsibility of the government and the country as a whole, and to ensure that we have proper legislation, because we need to protect the health and well-being of our people, and we just cannot do it on our own as individuals. It will have to take a whole of St. Lucia approach, even the region, because we're trying to get this harmful compound out of our foods, and the region, we are all working towards the same goal, to safeguard the health and the lives of our people.
Right, okay. Thank you so very much.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, Miss Lisa Hunt, nutritionist with the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs, for being our guest today and enlightening us on the subject of trans fats and how we need to be careful, to watch it, to make good dietary choices and selections and all that sort of thing, and to take greater control of our nutrition, of our health, of the foods that we choose, because there are choices. That's the thing about it. We have choices that we can make, that we don't have to be virtually captive and imprisoned by those unhealthy things that swirl around us all the time. Thank you very much, Jaquan. I understand the technical problems that you've had to deal with, but we got by. I'm looking forward for better things when we start again next week from Monday from 12:30 to 2 on Real FM Radio, coming to you on the dual frequencies, 91.3 for the North, 91.5 South, and NBC Television, where we simulcast, as well as Facebook Live and YouTube live streaming. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and indeed your weekend. Till we are together again, Shelton Daniel signing out.
2nd November 2024 were Double Daily Grand 5, 12, 19, 21. Big 4, 8, 1, 1, 3. The Big 4 multi-X drawn is 3X. Pick 2, 3, 4. The Pick 2 multi-X drawn is FP. 1 off, 1, 8, 0. Lucky 3, 1, 2, 0. The Lucky 3 multi-X drawn is 3X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issue.